Hey guys, how's it going? It's Spitfire again. Today what I got going on is I'm actually going to try and... I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I'm going to give it a shot. So if you watch one of my other videos from a few weeks back, I bought a Rockwell Delta metal shaper. And I was looking around on YouTube and the internet and other various places, and I could not find a single, I don't know, kind of a fun project for these things. I'm sure they're out there, but I don't know, I had a hell of a time finding it, so I figured I'd try and make something. So I am by no means a metal shaper expert, but I thought, what the hell. I've been thinking, so a while back, about a year and a half ago, I started using safety razors because I got sick of paying $32 for 3 blades to shave with. So what this is my grandfather's old Gillette safety razor. It's a little dirty right now, but they're pretty sweet. I like it. Since I started using it, I just absolutely love using it. However, this case is just a cheap, flimsy little, stamped metal with a hinge on the back, and it's really hard to travel with. This ends up squeezing together, and it doesn't work very well. For sitting around the house, it works great, but I got a fancy stand that I set this whole thing on when I'm at home. So there's really no need for this case other than the original thing. So what my idea is, I've got some thick aluminum here, and I think I'm going to try and make a case for this guy. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to make it, but I'll figure it out. It's kind of half the fun of doing projects sometimes, is just kind of making it up as you go along. What I'm going to do here now is this piece is way bigger than what I need it for. I'm probably going to go about the same size of what this case is and use this as my bottom part because it's approximately the same width. And then I've got a few scrap pieces here. I got this, but this is probably 1/4 inch too. I could use that as a cover. It's a little thick. And then I got some, I don't know, this is 3/16 or so, a big plate of aluminum I might use for a cover. What I'll end up doing here is I'll kind of get some of this stuff ready. Like I said, I'm just going by the seat of my pants on this guy, so if you want measurements on it, I'll be more than happy to give it to you when I'm all done, but for now, you'll just have to take a look-see and figure it out yourself if you want to start on one of these. But let's whack this guy up and let's start to figure out what the hell we're going to do here. Alrighty, that wasn't any fun, but used a hacksaw to hack away at it for probably half an hour. This stuff's probably got some dull blades, but no fun, hacksaws. Anyways, we got about approximately 2 inches wide by 4 inches in length, and then our depth is, it's pretty close there, and then once we get this figured out what we're going to do here, we'll get it straightened out. So now the next piece, being that I got these guys a little oversized, is I'm going to take them, I got not really a factory edge, but I got a cut edge there, which is fairly straight, cut edge there, and a factory edge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these up on the cut and factory edges first, and then just square off the edges. And I might do both at once. We'll see. Probably be a little more efficient to do both at once, and then we'll square that off. So let's get that set up. Alright, so now I got it set up in my machine, and I did put both my pieces in here at once, and I had to adjust my machine a little bit. I lengthened the stroke, and then I set it up so when the ram ends right behind it, and then it ends right in front of it, so it allows it to clap on the clapper. And I also turned the table 90 degrees so I can take long cuts instead of these short little cuts, you know, that would take forever. So let's crank it up and we'll see how close I am. Make sure I'm feeding in the right direction. Grab my safety glasses. And I gotta adjust it once again. So let me adjust this guy here. Is off a little bit. I'm gonna lengthen that up. I just want to get a little longer stroke. This adjusts how long a stroke we're getting. And I'll check that, see how that is. If not, I'll adjust it again here. So that's looking okay. We're advancing just a click at a time. And I'm going to quick oil a few things up here before we get too far ahead of ourselves. A lot of moving parts, so it's probably a good idea to do this before you got it running. Don't stick your hand anywhere where it shouldn't be. Super. I got the table going the wrong way, of course. So let's click it back that way. So remember, your arrow over here on your pawl pin is which way your piece is going to be going. So I'm going to crank it in a little bit, and then we should start cutting here shortly. And I am a little uneven here, so stop once again and adjust this guy. Like I said, this is my first time running this machine on an actual piece, so I'm kind of learning. And I don't want to mess anything up, so I'm going to lengthen that way out. Get quite a bit of travel on there. And then we can adjust over here too to get the rate. And I'm gonna check my depth here. I'm just over top of it, so I'm gonna crank in a little bit. Back out. Lock my piece down. And I'm actually going to back out. And then we want our piece going that way. So here we go. So now let's try it again. Well, trial and error here. There we go. Now we're getting quite a bit of movement, and we're going to get some little heavier cut. And of course, once again, I got my arrow wrong. I want to feed our piece in. Now let's crank it in. Alrighty. First few cuts. There we can see we're making some pretty good chips. I'll zoom in a little there for you. And it's sitting on my roller stand, so of course it's going to be moving a little bit. There we go, that's a nice flat piece there. Now that I kind of hit a low spot, I'm going to advance this guy. And just, because I'm not sure, I know that's a really high spot, but I got a spot back here that's kind of high too, but it's lower than the other piece. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stop the machine, and then we're going to, we can go back, we can do this too. We can go back to here, and I want my piece to go towards me, or sorry, I want my piece to go that way now, because we'll cut on the backstroke now. And then I'll count down, we'll do a 20 thousandths cut, and now, so now it's running back the other way, and we'll see what it does. And of course, getting used to this machine, so I want the piece to go this way, sorry. So now we're going to crank back. Start cutting any second here. There we go. Let's see how deep we're cutting. This is supposed to be a 20 thousandths cut. And with aluminum, 20 thousandths shouldn't be no big deal. So there we go, cutting another nice chip. So what I'll do is I'll go through and shape all this off, and I'll just keep working back and forth, and I'll smooth this off, this side, and then I might do, well, I'm not going to do a finish cut. I think I'll do a finish cut when everything's all said and done, and then I'll do every side finish when I'm done with putting it all together. So, so I'll plane this off, and then we'll continue on here in a minute. Okay, I just wanted to show you quick this after about 5 minutes. If you can see right in front of my finger there's a high spot on my second piece. So now that we're at the end here, I can start cutting again. So I've just been going about a quarter turn on my top, which is about a 20 thousandths. Quarter turn, lock it down, and then reverse it, because I got cutting edges on both sides of my bit here. So now I'm going back the other way. It should. There we go. Should start cutting any second here. So this is after about 5 minutes of cutting. You know, these things are not speed demons, but they're pretty precise. So I'll continue cutting, and I'll show you what happened when I'm all done. Alright, just finished taking the last couple cuts here on my first cut here on my piece, and it's a little rough yet, but it turned out pretty good. I guess my main goal here is to try and get this parallel to the other side. So what I'll do now is I'll probably flip this around and take a skim cut on the back to make sure I'm just parallel, and then I'll cut my ends here. I'll do both sides, and then hopefully I'll have all my sides will match up as good as I can get them. So I'll go on to the next step. I don't know how many videos I'm gonna make out of this, but hopefully it'll only be 2 or 3. But we'll see how in depth I get here with this guy. But I'll set up my next cut, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I flipped it over, and I'm just taking a really light, maybe a 5 thousandths cut, just to clean up what we got going on here. And I'll actually have to back up because I missed a little spot there. But all this is doing is trying to make sure everything's parallel from the opposite side that I just got done cutting. So I'll finish this, and then I'll probably endo it and do the ends, and I'll show you how I set that up. Alright, I now flipped it 90 degrees. Here's my cut edge that we just did. See, it turned out pretty good. I went back over it without advancing it, and that usually cleans it up a little and smooths it out, but it's still rough. Being that this is such a small machine, it's hard to get a tall piece in without putting it on the side. You know, you can mount it to the side of the table here, or the box, whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna take some light cuts, and I got this guy clamped in my vise sideways, and I'm using this bar right here as a parallel on this edge. So I'm gonna take a few cuts here and hopefully this works. I got it clamped down really well, and I'm thinking that if I take some light cuts it'll be okay. Another thing I also did was I loosened up my ram adjustment feed, and I moved my ram out a little further, so when I advance, we'll advance it out here. I could shorten my stroke up, but we're probably going to use it later. So now my stroke goes all the way out to the end of my piece, if you can see it there. And then you know, this is way more movement than we need, but I don't want to adjust it again and then adjust it back, because I'm only going to take, you know, a few cuts there hopefully. So let's crank her up. We'll zoom in a little bit here. I'll show you. We'll see. You can see if this works or not. See if I'm right. Hopefully I got my feed set at the right direction, which it is. So my thin piece is on the outside there. I'm still cutting both pieces, and I'm not cutting anything, so I'm slowly advancing it quicker than the machine would advance it by hand, just to the edge, because I know I'm going to be cutting on this thicker piece. So there, it's starting to cut. There we go. So it seems to be cutting pretty good. And let me move my light there. Isn't the best for you guys, but there we go. Now I can see it. So I'll do the same thing on this side. Is I'll make a cut. I'll come to the right, and then I'll advance my feet a little bit, and then I'll go back to left, and I'll advance until I get a nice straight cut, and then I'll flip it 180 degrees, and I'll do the other side just like I did the two sides, and then we'll have a nice parallel, two parallel pieces of aluminum to work with. And then I got to figure out how I'm going to make that cover fit on there. Not quite sure yet. I might have to think about it overnight. So this might be the end of video 1. I appreciate you guys watching it. If you haven't checked out my other videos, I got videos on this shaper, just kind of an overview of it. And I got a bunch of other videos on gunsmithing, machining, and lathes. I do quite a bit of lathe stuff. And so yeah. And let me know if you got any questions or comments, and subscribe. So, till next time, perfect timing here, I'm gonna advance it and turn it the other way. So till next time, you guys, stay tuned for part 2 and possibly part 3. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, check out my channel. It's a good use of your time. That's a lie, but you can check it out anyway. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned.